Hello everyone, I'm Jay.
I'm Val.
And today we are in Grafton, Illinois at the Pere Marquette State Park. And why are we here, Val?
We are here to see some eagles today.
Yeah, we're here for the Bald Eagle Festival in Pere Marquette Lodge. So come along with us as we Jay and Val around the Bald Eagle Festival.
And let's see what we can find.
All right, Val, we were just at the overlook.
Yep.
And it was cold and cloudy, and I didn't see one eagle. Did you see
any birds whatsoever?
No birds, because they're smart. They're not gonna be out in this cold.
Nope.
So why don't we get smart? Let's head into the festival, get warm, and see what they have to offer.
Sounds good to me. Let's go. So here we are at French Forest Designs. Haven't found any eagles yet, but I found a bird box that is absolutely beautiful. You gotta check this out. So you've got the beautiful birds on the outside. And then you open it, and you have some more beautiful writing and everything in there. You can make it a ring box, a little gadget box, whatever you want to put in there. Mary Ann does some really beautiful work over here.
There.
So it was nice. We got to quit trialing like August last year with the shop, and we just picked up.
So guys, we're here with the other half of the French Forest Design. This is Michel. Michel, we're here at the Bald Eagle Festival, and you make wooden tables out of all kinds of different wood here. So, Michel, I don't see any bald eagles in your work, but have you had any like weird birds in your work?
Well, one, I did this. I made a cardinal on a maple stool. So I inlaid that in there, a walnut cardinal. That's the only bird I have.
That's the only bird that you've come across is
So
your
far.
own maple cardinal. Now, I didn't know that cardinals were made out of maple. I thought they were actually real birds.
Well, that's a copy of a bird. I had a friend of mine draw it, and I inlaid it out of walnut.
That's so cool. Well, we're at a bird festival today, Michel. I had to show something bird.
Birds, yeah.
Thank you so much. Continued success with the French Forest Designs.
Yeah. Thank you.
Get this. One of my 3 favorite flavors, spearmint, peppermint, and government.
Government, that is fantastic. All right. So we are at Bubba Grumpz Pretzelz. And
Smoked pretzel.
Smoked pretzels. I was corrected. I have one question for you, sir. Since we're at the Bald Eagle Festival, do you have any Bald Eagle flavored pretzels? Go!
No, but I do have a spotted owl that people seem to love.
That is too funny.
Bless your heart and all your parts.
Hey Valerie, we love our Bubba Grumpz Pretzels. Do they have anything new?
They do. They have an apricot flavor. It is absolutely amazing. Of course, you know I had to buy some. They have a plum flavor also that's really, really good. Can't go wrong with Bubba Grumpz.
Yeah, it's smoked, right?
Yes.
Check this out, everybody. The eagle has landed. We finally have a bald eagle sighting right here at the Bald Eagle Festival.
So here we are at Littig Lumber and Sawmill. You've got to check out their etchings, the eagle etchings. They're amazing. So they've got all different kinds of the wood ones, different sizes. Absolutely amazing work.
Yeah, now this is something different. We saw them at the Peach Festival and they didn't have this type of work. And this is out of this world.
So you got to check these eagles out. These are absolutely amazing. Check out all the work in those.
Now, what would you call that?
3D effect? What would you call it?
Not sure, that's why I asked you, but if I were to make a guess, sort of like a collage of different things inside of the eagle. It's definitely a scene in there.
Yes. It's absolutely beautiful.
Actually, I gotta pick it up.
Okay.
So, in this booth here, we're at Second Generation Ceramics. These are our friends. We've done this before. We did it at Christmas time, and we've done it at other craft shows. Today, they brought their birds. They brought their ceramic birds. So let's check these out. Look at this eagle.
Jay, that's not an eagle.
What is it?
That's an owl.
Who?
That was, yeah.
That's an eagle.
Jay, that's a blue jay.
That's not an eagle? That's not an eagle?
That's a blue jay, Jay.
Eagle.
Jay, those are ducks.
You're kidding me.
Those are ducks, Jay.
All right. So let's actually check out the ceramic eagles right here. Aren't these amazing?
Jay found his eagles.
Excellent. My name is Karen and Ryan, and we are from the World Burn Sanctuary. Now, we were founded back in 1977 by a gentleman named Walter Crawford, and he started what was called the Rector Rehabilitation and Roughnation Project, which is a mouthful, and I'm glad I only have to say that during programs. But it did say a lot about what we wanted to do to help conserve species. Back in the 1970s, there weren't a lot of facilities out there that were helping out birds. They were sick, they were injured, they were orphaned, and there was nobody out there to help them. So we began the RRPP. We've now changed it to the World Bird Sanctuary, which gives even a better idea of what we do, but we still do the rehabilitation. We take in over 700 birds every single year, and we fix them up and get them back out to the wild. Now, we only take in hawks, falcons, eagles, owls, and vultures, but they do get into trouble to a lot of man-caused issues, so we do what we can to kind of offset that in order to give them a chance. We used to breed barn owls. We no longer need to do that as well because thanks to conservation efforts and our breeding efforts, they're not threatened in the state of Missouri. So we are now working on species such as vultures. it's not going to do them any good to try headbutting it. They're not designed to headbutt these particular birds. But what they're going to do is use one of those tools in their tool belt, which is their feet. So once they get close to the bird, they're going to throw out their wings to put on the brakes, and then they're going to put out their feet and ball up their long toes, and they're going to punch that bird. Now getting hit at 200 miles an hour is devastating, and it does usually kill the bird on impact. And these birds are not only fast, they're incredibly agile. As that bird is plummeting to the ground, they're going to swoop around and grab it so they can take it someplace safe in order But this is very important because barn owls, surprisingly enough, like to live in barns. And barns are usually on farmland where crops are being eaten by mice. So a lot of times farmers will put up nest boxes for barn owls in order to help them out because barn owls can have a lot of babies. In fact, they can have up to 7 babies in a single nest. So if you're talking about 9 barn owls eating 1,000 mice apiece, that's 9,000 mice that they're going to be eating that the farmer doesn't need to worry about. We get it? Now, he's been eating a little bit of mouse and a little bit of chick, but again, if he were to be hunting out in the wild, he'd be going after mice. And this is one particular bird that you can tell the difference between a boy and a girl based on their coloration. Typically, with most birds of prey, you can't tell the difference between a boy and a girl. But with barn owls, we know Farnsworth is a boy because he's got that bright white chest. This is Olive, and she is an eastern screech owl. Now, they are one of the 3 most common owls that we have in Missouri. And as such, being very small, this means that a lot of things want to eat her. So rather than having something like speed in order to get away from something that is chasing her, she's going to be using her coloration to camouflage. It is called cryptic coloration. Now, with screech owls, they do come in 2 different colorations. What you are seeing right now is what we call a gray phase or a gray morph screech owl. Now, that doesn't mean that she's changing colors, but what that means is a fancy term for color, and it's going to allow her to blend in. If we look out at the trees right now, we know that we're going to see browns and grays and whites and blacks and greens. And these are all the colors that we see on Olive right now. And we usually find that here in at least this part of Missouri, we find more gray-faced screech owls because they're able to hide better in order to survive. Now, as an owl, they do have adaptations that make them excellent hunters at night. And the first thing is going to be their very large eyes. As we've been walking Olive back and forth, you might have noticed that her eyes are fairly large in relation to her skull. And if we had eyes as large as an owl's, they would be the size of the grapefruits. That's how large they are. But what you are seeing is the smallest part of her eye. Her eye is shaped a little bit like a light bulb, with it getting bigger as it goes back into her skull. And this means that she's not able to move her eyes. The shape of her eye will not allow it to roll in its socket, and there's just not enough room for any muscles. So instead, they can turn their heads very, very far. How many of you have heard that an owl can turn their heads 360 degrees? We like to joke they can only do that once. With these owls, they can turn their heads about 3/4 of the way around. So if she wanted to, she could look at Brian, and then she could look at the wall behind her, and then she could gaze lovingly over me, her food provider, and all without needing to pick up her feet. And this is because owls are ambush predators. They sit and they wait for their food to come to them. So if something comes running up behind them, they want to be able to just turn their head real quickly to see if there's anything back there in order to hunt. This also means that they have a wider peripheral vision because their eyes are very forward facing. They don't have a lot of room, and so they have to be able to turn their heads in order to see further around them. And the best part is they can hunt in very, very low light. If we were in this room and we shut up all the windows and turned out all the lights, and it was so dark in here you could not see your hand in front of your face, I could put one single birthday candle in the middle of this room, and she would have enough light to see everybody's faces, even those who were there. That's how good their low light vision is. Now, Olive is with us for the same reason that Bella is. She unfortunately was hit by a car, and she has damage to her eye. Now, typically, we have found during studies that owls with only one eye can very easily survive on their own because they're using more than just their eyesight in order to catch their food. However, when this happened, she was still very young and she had not yet figured out how to be successful as a hunter. So in order to save her life, we brought her back to the sanctuary where she gets to be an amazing ambassador. This is Scout, and he is what is called a fish or a seed. Yes,
Alrighty, the Bald Eagle Festival here in Grafton, Illinois at Pere Marquette is over. So Val, did you have a good time?
I did. I had a blast. Few oldies but goodies in the vendor room. Love seeing some of our friends. The bird show was really good. Didn't have a PA system, but you could still hear them, and the birds were amazing to look at.
Yeah, they came from the World Bird Sanctuary here in the St. Louis area. Hopefully we can have a full video dedicated just to the sanctuary, because it was a really good show, but because they didn't have the PA system, it was kind of hard to hear all of the information. So I would love to bring it to you so that we can hear everything and see all the birds. But for what it was for the festival, it was really, really cool. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, comment down below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and help us get to 1,000 subscribers.
And it'll let you know when the next video's coming out, and it'll keep you in the loop.
So we want to thank you for coming along with us today to the Bald Eagle Festival. And we want to thank you for Jay and Valing around with us.